you already know Belal, the ultimate booty warrior. He gonna go out there, gonna push him up against the cage, grab the shorts, take him down, and I don't see a crazy war happen. I don't see anything like that. So, but Belal gonna do whatever it takes to make sure he get his hands raised, and I'm expecting him to do that. Come, you know what I'm saying? May 10th again? All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of the Brick Brother Podcast, man. Y'all know we got a lot to talk about. Obviously, man, we're going to be talking about the KC trip, also the Usman announcement as well, man. We're going to be talking about the 317 Big Belal versus JDM and how that fight is going to pan out. So make sure that you guys subscribe. Make sure you guys like and tune in, bro. Let's get it.
All right, man. So we got a lot of things to talk about. As
Yeah.
we talked about in the preview. Let's just go back a little bit to our KC trip, the Usman fight being announced, just kind of that process. Let's talk about that a bit.
Man, so, you know, obviously a lot of people was like, did you already know? Did you already know? Man, I had no clue, right? I knew that the UFC wanted me out there in KC, so, you know, that's why we went out there to see, you know, Ian Gary and Protez and just see, you know, that work being put in. But I really thought, you know, the UFC just wanted me out there for fan engagements and everything of that nature, but shoot, they surprised us with the Usman announcement, right? And you seen Dana, he went on the live, you know, talking that good talk. And one thing that he said that really kind of caught my attention, he said, bro, this might be for the #1 contender spot.
There we go.
Right? Like, ooh-wee. Sorry, Sean Brady. Put you up out the way, right? So, yet again, it's our performance, right? We got to go out there and just do what we do best. But I'm so thankful for the opportunity that the UFC has given us. And I'm so thankful that Usman even took this fight, you know what I mean? Because, you know, he's a legend, right? And with a person like me being on the streak that we on, right? Getting the finishes that we getting, you know, I know that I'm not the best fight for him. But regardless, he still took the hardest challenge. You know what I mean? So shout out to Kamaru Usman. But I'm so excited for June 14th in Atlanta.
Yeah, same. You already know we talked about this a bunch of times. I probably mentioned it on the show. There were two fights that I was looking for, one being Colby Covington. We checked that off our list at the end of last year, and then Kamaru Usman, what I was, you know, really game planning for a very long time. Yeah. So just to see it happen, to speak to fruition, I didn't know it'd be announced when it was announced, but I'm super excited. Yeah. I am a little surprised he took this fight. It's not an easy fight for him, and I think he knows that. I think that's why he took so much time to kind of
get them knees right. You know what I'm saying? Because you know we're gonna be moving, right? We're gonna be skating on them for sure. But yet again, like you said, you know, we just glad that he took the fight, he took the challenge. But yet again, I think I'm the type of fight as well that, let's say Usman do get it done, right? It gives him the right to go get his belt back, right? So I feel like this is the biggest fight in the welterweight division right now. Big
risk, big reward. I think in order for him to make himself, I won't say relevant, but you know, at the top of the list of a short, with a few short names, he has to be a real contender. And I think, you know, obviously with JDM and Belal right around the corner, with Ian Gary just having a fight just a little bit ago, we were at KC. There's only a couple names that make sense, and I don't think he could.
Pass it up.
Yeah, pass it up. You know, you got to do what you got to do. Yep, but just in general, what was that KC trip like? Just a little brief.
I mean, the KC trip, you was out there with me, obviously. But I feel like going out to KC, right, still in Missouri, I felt like it was necessary, right? And you got to keep a close eye on this division because, yet again, we all on this race to take the throne, right, to get to this belt. And I really wanted to, even if the UFC didn't call me to be out there, I was still going to go. Right? Because I wanted to see that work live, and I wanted to see Ian Gary in person. I wanted to see Carlos Protez in person and just see that energy and to see that vibe. But I think just the trip overall was a success, right? With just being able to be with the fans and being able to do, you know, be out there in PAL for the Kansas City athletic department for the kids, right? And being able to speak with them, you know, meeting up with Khalil Roundtree, you know what I mean? And us doing what we did, I think was pretty cool. And being able to go into the arena, right? And just have fun, bro, and just be almost like a fan, right? And be a spectator, you know what I mean? And just enjoy all the fights. Because the fights went on, bro. Like, a lot of great knockouts, a lot of great finishes, man. Shout out to, you know, Randy Brown. Shout out to Evan Eldridge, you know, putting on great performances, right, in that fight. But I think KC was an awesome trip. I think we had a great time, and we got some things done. And then plus, like I said before, even the biggest thing, we got the Usman fight, right? They made the call out, you know what I mean? And then yet again, soon as that fight was over with, straight back to work. You know, I'm yelling in your face, nigga, it's time. It's time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
2 o'clock in the morning yelling
because
at me.
like, if we gonna take it back, just real quick, just give them a short story. But like, you called this fight a long time ago when I wasn't even signing the UFC, right? So I love how you tell the story though. You know what I'm saying?
It was just funny. I think this is right after maybe your first LFA fight, and it took a while for that second fight to come around. I was just in the middle of just watching film, and one of the fights that came on was, I want to say, Usman Covington 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just kind of comparing notes, just thinking what's looking for both, for you going forward and for both of them. And I called you, and I watched the fight, and I was like, man, I know you could beat these two individuals right now. We got to work on a couple things, but I'm telling you, you could do it.
And with me at the time, bro, we working at Walgreens, you know what I'm saying? And we thugging it out there. So I didn't even believe in that, right? I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, right now, I'm not in the mental space. What are you talking about? I could beat two of the best guys on the planet, right? But a lot of people don't realize that at that time, in 2019, probably, roughly around that time, that, you know, that was my hardest time. I got cut from Bellator in 2018, right? You already know that situation at the gym, you know what I mean, getting kicked out. And us trying to find a fight was very difficult, you know. Luckily, we got the Chris Harris fight, you know what I'm saying? And luckily, you know, we got that win. But yet again, bro, no noise, nothing was popping off. But when you told me that, like, bro, I ain't even believe that shit that you was saying, bro. I'm like, bro, it's hard enough just trying to eat, right?
You said, thank you. And I was like, basically, F your thank you, fuck thank you.
Right, 100%.
We can do it. I need you to buy in. I need you to believe. Just having that forward-thinking mentality to know what was around the corner. And the difference between being number one in the world and being someone who's fighting at the region level isn't that big. It's just really that self-belief and making sure you take the most of the opportunities that come to you. So just to see everything come full circle, like I said before, with everybody with the Colby Covington fight, a lot of people close to me was like, man, sure you think this is a good fight? I'm like, it's a great fight. I wanted this. And now with Kamaru Usman, again, I wanted this 6 years ago. I wanted this 5 years ago. I wanted it 4 years ago.
Well, I want to repeat what I said about 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
You're welcome, of course, of course. But, you know, I now you believe it, and now it's a reality. So June 14th, all things pending, you know what I'm saying? No need issues for Usman, not a shot, but, you know. But it's going to happen, and I think a lot of people, those who know won't be surprised, but I think you're going to shock a lot of people just with how you make it look and, you know, how we get
not
it
just
done.
but we.
Yeah.
Right? It's a team. It's a team.
Of course.
Because we keep celebrating what? The solid foundation. The bricks, right?
Of course.
This team will be noticed June 14th, bro. And I just can't wait.
Absolutely. Very, very exciting stuff. But last night, there were some fights. They're in Seattle?
I think so. No, not Seattle, not Iowa. Iowa, and it's been like 25 years.
St. Louis City played in Seattle last night, so I'm mixing up my sport events. Excuse me, guys.
Right.
But some big fights on that card. We won't go over all of them, but let's talk about the big one. Cory Sandhagen, who was ranked number 4, fought Deiveson Figueiredo, who was ranked number 5. Were you able to watch that fight? Thought process, analysis?
You know me, man. I've been locked into my fights, but I got to catch the highlights, you know. Cool. And I heard Cory, man, put on a phenomenal performance. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna just go ahead and let you lead into it, bro.
Yeah, Cory. I figured he would have a lot of advantages in this particular fight. I think I'm gonna say this, and this might ruffle some feathers again. I think everything we put out that Michael Chandler clip about his performances and where I think he is versus where we kind of projected him to be. And, you know, I got some flack for that, but I think it's rightfully so. I think everything the fans were saying in defense for Michael Chandler, I say for Cory Sandhagen. Right? He has those star-studded wins and those victories, but you look at the losses on his record to Umar Nurmagomedov, to Aljamain Sterling, who became champion, to Petr Yan, who was champion. He only loses to the best of the best. It's not like he's losing to scrubs. And he's very entertaining. He puts it on the line, but he also has success when he's supposed to have success. So I just want to give Cory Sandhagen his credit for that. But Deiveson Figueiredo has been beaten up on every bantamweight, coming up from 125, you know, wonder how he do. He was beating up on everybody and having great performances, submitting guys, knocking guys out, having more power. With that being said, Cory had a fantastic performance. Used his range well, grappled well. When he was on top, he was looking to land damage and just kind of closed Deiveson out. They're playing that, leg lock game.
Yeah, the 50-50.
And that kind of got Deiveson in trouble because Cory said if you're only good at one style in that, he knew he was going to crank on that knee inside of the heart. But every single time when he was in top position, just looking to land damage, where I felt like Deiveson was trying to grapple and get submissions, Cory was looking to strike and just be advantageous in every position. I think certain times where Cory Sandhagen, he's so good at MMA, he kind of finds himself into random scrambles and random moments instead of being super deliberate. I thought last night he was extremely deliberate, wanting to make sure that he made a statement to show that there's levels to everything, and he's a real bantamweight, and it's a lot more difficult to do that. What Deiveson's done to other bantamweights, you're not going to do that to me, and he did it in spectacular fashion.
So what do you think is next for my man Cory Sandhagen? I mean, my man was shouting out for that title immediately.
I think that's in the cards for him. I think if you look at the people he's fought, the only other person who I could really put over him is Piotr Jan. I think them fighting again would make sense. I don't know what's going on with Piotr. But other than that, I could see him being right in line for Merab and Sean O'Malley. I think if Merab wins or if Sean O'Malley wins, both of that makes a lot of sense. But my pick for toughest weight class, already said, is bantamweight.
Right.
So it's just a anybody in that top 5 is just going to be hard to leapfrog over. But Cory made a statement last night for sure.
Yes, sir, man. Shout out to Cory Sandhagen, man, for getting it done.
And then we had Reinier de Ridder, TKO, Bo Nickal
Bo Nickal.
in the second round.
Not Bo Nickal, Po Nickal, for sure.
Now, you and I talked off cam yesterday, and I was just telling you, I really feel like it was going to be a horrible fight for Bo Nickal. I was just mentioning it. And all week long, people kind of asking me why. And I'll say one thing about Bo. I'm not one to pile on somebody when they lose. I hate when people say fraud check or what's the other thing they say? Hype train derailed. I don't think it's any of that. I think that Bo Nickal is very early into his MMA career. He just happens to be so good at wrestling, he was able to skip steps. Reinier de Ridder is very durable. He's fought a lot of tough opponents. He's really good at grappling too. I knew it would probably be a very tough match for Bo Nickal.
And don't forget, like, coming from the ONE FC too, right? You know what I mean? Being a double champion, like, boy ain't no slouch, like, literally a world champion in another promotion and coming over. So it ain't like you just fighting some random.
No,
right?
I think Bo Nickal would have exceeded all expectations for people who really understand how this game works if he beat Reinier de Ridder. I didn't think it would be a good match for him. I didn't think his wrestling would be enough because de Ridder's really, really good with jiu-jitsu. His grappling's top-notch. So when you look at striking, Bo Nickal, I've said this before and I said this to you when we were discussing yesterday. I think Bo Nickal is individually pretty decent at everything. I don't know that he knows how to put it together. He strikes and he grapples. It's not like one seamless thing. Him jumping that guillotine, I believe it was, right? Like, against somebody who's so good, keeping that top position would have been very important. Just kind of picking on moments, picking up spots. And I think Bo Nickal will be fine. But I think this just shows him jumping forward to those big names like Hamza and all the people he's called out.
Exactly.
It takes levels. The same way that you wrestled your whole entire life to get to a certain point.
It takes the same thing in this sport.
Same effort in mixed martial arts. It's no different. There's no skipping steps. Yet again, goes to my point that we were talking about with him before. Was Bo Nickal not a great collegiate wrestler?
Of course.
You need more than that in today's mixed martial arts to just be a world champion. It's not that they're not transitioning. It just takes a lot. This game's tough,
Yes, sir. And what you just said before, right? He's not able to put it together. So with that being said, like, the people that he trained with, do you know what camp he's out of? Necessarily, and I really truly believe he's still training with the guys from Penn State, like his collegiate friends, the wrestlers and stuff like that. But you got to get out of that and actually find yourself some coaches where you can learn different things in different disciplines and not just rely on one discipline alone. Because it being mixed martial arts, bro, you got too many things that you got to worry about, right? Because I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. RDR, piece that boy up. You know what I'm saying? And RDR ain't no real striker like that, but he got to, you know what I'm saying, like, really just let them things go. But you got to realize, RDR probably got a great striking coach, right? A great jiu-jitsu coach, a great wrestling coach, a great strength and condition. Like, you need all these things in order to be one of the best in the world, not just, like you said, relying on one discipline.
Yeah, what is it? I think Bo Nickal's the American Top Team, I think. With
I don't know. I haven't seen much of that.
All of them. That's what I thought. And I think RDR, funny enough, training with Killcliff. But just a lot of experience, though. Like, regardless of that, it just takes time. RDR might not be the greatest striker, but when you're striking against somebody who's probably been doing it for 2-3 years, 5 years, whatever the case may be, you're doing 10+ years most likely. So you just think about that experience gap. I think Bo Nickal just thought his wrestling was so dominant that you could skip steps, and it just usually doesn't happen. That's all I'm gonna say. But for Bo Nickal, for RDR, what do you want to see next for him?
I mean, that was a great performance. Obviously, Bo Nickal wasn't ranked. I don't think RDR was even ranked, right? But I think, shoot, just throw him in the rankings, right? You ain't got to give him no crazy number, but a little 15 spot, a little 14 spot, and just let my man work up the ladder and just see what he really made of.
I agree. And any advice for Bo Nickal? I know a lot of times fans are harsh on fighters once they lose the first time. It happens. It's a part of the game.
Exactly. It's a part of the game. Losses going to come, especially with this type of sport, because, yet again, there's so many ways to win, so many ways to lose as well. But I'm going to keep saying it. You cannot be a one-dimensional fighter, and you really have to utilize what you have, which is your talent, but kind of put building blocks around that. So you got to work on your hands. You got to work at your jiu-jitsu, right? Having just basic things so it gets you straight back to what you're great at, right? But you got to have the defense, You got to have the footwork. You got to have the weapons in order to use once you get somebody to the ground and not just hold them, right? Maybe be able to get them out of there. So with my advice to Bo Nickal, bro, just learn this sport for what it is and respect this sport for what it is.
For sure. And just piggybacking off that point, for him, my advice is block the noise. The same confidence that you had before, just bring that to fruition. Everybody's looking to laugh or, like I said, hype train derailed or fraud check, all this and that. That shit isn't real. That's not why he lost. Ryan DeRitter just happens to have a lot more experience and be very good himself. I think if Bo Nickal continues to put in the work, makes himself an actual, not saying he's not a mixed martial artist, but more of a natural mixed martial artist.
More complete fighter.
Being able to do everything seamlessly, where it's not like, I'm striking and then wrestling and then looking to do jiu-jitsu, I think he'll be fine, That's it. Also, the last fight we'll talk about from last night's card is Ponzinibbio and
D-Rod. My boy D-Rod.
D-Rod gets it done late in the third round, right?
Yeah, you got it done.
By TKO KO.
Mm-hmm.
Did you
highlights
for that
just saw the highlight, yes sir, but go ahead.
I didn't watch the whole thing. You didn't really miss nothing. I thought it was, not the most action-packed fight. They were landing good strikes, both of them. Santiago Ponzinibbio was using his movement well. Might have been ahead going into that third. It was fairly close. But Daniel Rodriguez has that power. Mm-hmm. He has endless pursuit. And he's able to find the button. I thought Ponzinibbio a couple times was getting away with kind of dipping his head and trying to just, every time he got touched, just land a big one back. And that's not always the smartest strategy. And I think that what kind of got him in trouble. He did protest the stoppage. I think there's no question when you see him stumble off and attempt to talk to him.
It's becoming a regular thing with my man doing that. But regardless, though.
But no, I think, it's there's no reason for him to protest it. Unfortunately, for somebody who was on such a huge string of wins in their career, for them to kind of fall short, it's tough. But shout out to D-Rod, good performance. Ponzinibbio, hold your head up. It just, comes with the territory.
Yep.
Question to you, though, with them both being, I think they're both 38, the latter stage of their career, what's a realistic expectation for both people kind of going to the end of their careers?
I mean, that's their decision, right? I mean, if they want to fight until they're 40, I mean, that's on them. No, 100%, right? That's your, as a grown man, that's your decision. That could never be me, though. I ain't gonna lie to you. But regardless, though, it's just, yet again, it's hard to drop them gloves when that time comes, right? Sure. Because especially if you were born for this and you've been doing it for so long, it's kind of hard to put yourself in a place of like, what's next, right? Obviously, with even Anthony Smith, right, retiring that night in Kansas City, I know that was a hard thing to do, to drop them gloves, right? But regardless, though, it's just like everybody has their time, as we get older, like Father Time is undefeated, so things are gonna slow down, and you might have the IQ there, but the body mechanics, you know what I mean, in the just reaction time is just always gonna be different. So with that being said, it's good when you can recognize that early, right, or have a team that recognizes that for you if you can't see it, you know what I mean, and to listen to that. But my true statement to anybody is, you fight as long as you feel you can fight.
Of course. I think for D-Rod moving forward, I think fun, interesting fights. I think it'll be probably pretty tough for him to make it up to, championship caliber at this time. But if he wants to fight and just be competitive with, guys who are just kind of in the mix, I think that's a good strategy for him. For Ponzinibbio, I won't say hang it up, but, just understand that you've done a lot. Don't just move forward because you want to prove that you're still the same guy. You were him a long time ago, and sometimes that window passes, and that's okay. But if you want to continue to fight, I can't tell you to retire. So that's just all my take on that. This week coming up, we got UFC, 317?
317, the big boys, my division, baby.
So we got Belal Muhammad taking on...
What's his name?
Jack Della Maddalena.
Who?
Maddalena, right?
Maddalena.
All right. Did I say it right?
JDM.
Yeah,
we're going to cut it short.
Yeah, we just call JDM
put an
for
acronym
short.
on it, nigga.
Hey.
Anyways, though, no, man, I'm excited for this one, obviously, right? This is my division, and a lot of people believe that I should have got the shot, right? A lot of people thought that, the run that I was on, finishing these ranked guys, and then obviously, right, I kind of – I ain't kind of called it. I did call it. I said Shawcott is not going to show up. He going to be hurt. Blase, and that's what actually happened. Boy, Mystic Manson be getting it down.
You got some good predictions.
All the time. But regardless, though, I'm glad it didn't happen, right? Just because of the timing-wise, if we had to take the fight, we would have ran with it,
Of course.
But like I said, we in the process of building right now, and knowing how big and prestigious that title is, right? And all the opportunities that come with it. I wanted to have something built before we got to that title, And with this opportunity, fight with Kamaru Usman too, because don't get it twisted, right? Before I fought for this belt, I really wanted that name, Because let's say, we would have got the shot opportunity, Kamaru Usman fought somebody else, would have lost, right? Now Kamaru Usman gone. Now I want that name.
Right?
I want that name, right, on my list, especially as I continue on this path of success, right? So I believe that everything worked out perfectly, at the end of the day. And I'm very excited to see how this fight go, but I'm not going to lie to you, I want Belal to win. Like, I want that man to be the one who's the winner. Now, you would say, I don't care. Obviously, you being my coach, right? But for me, bro, I need that Belal fight. You know what I'm saying? JDM don't do nothing for us.
Yeah, I mean, as far as legacy goes, Belal obviously is the much more decorated person. You see what he's been able to do against the likes of Vicente Luque, Leon Edwards, Sean Brady.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot more. If you look at the resume, a lot more credential. Obviously both beat Gilbert Burns, right? Belal is just that streak, what he's been able to do in big fights and the success that he's able to have. Of course, I think that's the bigger, better challenge.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, I have to be contingent on who wins. I don't really care. But obviously, you want the biggest opportunity. With that being said, how do you see this fight playing out?
Well, I think you spoke about it before, but I'm gonna piggyback off of that. Gilbert Burns kind of already gave the blueprint, right? And I feel like JDM throughout numerous of his fights kind of struggled with the grappling, right? Even with the Fiziev fight when he fought him on short notice, you seen my buddy was struggling, right, in the grappling. And you already know Belal, the ultimate booty warrior. He gonna go out there, he gonna push him up against the cage, grab the shorts, take him down. And I don't see a crazy war happen. I don't see anything like that. So, but Belal gonna do whatever it takes to make sure he get his hands raised, and I'm expecting him to do that come, May 10th again?
Yeah, May 10th.
May 10th. This Saturday, May 10th. This Saturday, yep. But don't get it twisted, though. JDM still got good power in them hands, right?
Very precise, too.
Very precise, I wish he would throw more combinations, but sometimes all it takes is one, right?
For sure.
And we done seen Belal get spent around before. Like, this ain't going to be the first time, if it happened. But I believe as the fight continues and as the fight goes on and JDM is not able to find that shot, Belal gonna get his hand raised.
There's two guys who I've picked against, before they were champions. One a lot more recently, but Belal was one of those guys. And the thing about Belal, where I have to just give him his credit, is I call him Batman. Belal does not have the same superpowers your favorite fighter oftentimes has. He's not the fastest. He's not like he's a D1 wrestler. It's not like he's like this world champion Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy. But he is as smart as they come. He studies his opponents like second to none, honestly, and he comes with a good strategy. And when you have a deficiency, he will find it. And I think, like you said before, we spoke about before, Gilbert Burns kind of showed a lot of what JDM has trouble doing. And I think Belal will piggyback on that as good as anybody and put him where he's uncomfortable and probably either get a TKO or a boring decision. That's just my personal opinion. JDM does have really good striking. He has good power. He's a good athlete. But I think Belal's strategy has been so good. He's faced really tough opponents. The adjustments he's made in the last, 4 years of his career, I'm very, very impressed, especially and I don't take this with any disrespect for Law, but with the lack of special abilities.
Yeah. Like you said, he Batman. And one thing, remember when they had found out on that episode, Superman was like, bro, you got plans against all of us.
Yeah.
He said, hell yeah, I do, just in case y'all want to go left. And he was like, but we ain't got one against you, you a damn fool. Right? So, like, it's just, like you said, with Batman, Belal, right? Like, he's able to strategize the best plan to go up against these superheroes, right? Like, Wonder Boy, right? Obviously going into the grappling, right? And pin him up against the cage with Sean Brady. And at first I was confused why he was working with Habib. And I was like, why are you gonna take him down? Yeah. He's working on his wrestling defense. He knew that right, with the grappling, right? He knew that Sean Brady would be a more superior grappler, especially on the ground. But he was like, this nigga ain't got no hands. Right. He ain't got no footwork. So that's where we're gonna take it. So yet again, it's just how he sets up his fights and how he plans. Like, you gotta respect that. But Belal, we do everything.
Of course.
How you gonna game plan against us? I'm very intrigued. That's why I definitely want to fight him, because he is one of those type of guys, right? Like, how is he gonna game plan against us? I'm very curious, bro. Very curious.
Something I'll just leave pending, I won't say, but I think his strategy against you was to do a certain thing, and he got to see at one particular point in time. That might not be the most effective. So I'm sure he'll try to draw on some tendency or something. But with that being said,
yes, sir.
So your final prediction for the welterweight strap on the line is Belal Muhammad?
Yes, sir.
How decision?
Decision. Pillow hands. Come on now.
I'm gonna say Belal Muhammad by TKO.
What round?
I think he gets it done in the championship round. I say 4th round.
Okay.
Also the women's what is it? Flyweight, excuse me. Yeah. Valentina Shevchenko is taking on Manon Fiorot.
Oh, yeah. Fiorot got it?
She's the number one contender.
Hold on, let me see the fit. I don't think I'm thinking of the right person. The French, the girl from France?
Yeah, you thinking of her.
Okay.
Yeah, she's
when she get it, why she get a title shot? Who she beat?
She beat a lot of people. She beat a lot of people. She beat Rose. Like, if you look at her, it's as good as it comes.
Okay.
She's undefeated in the UFC.
Man, no, forget that, man. I'm trying to see Zhang and Valentina, man. They got to stop wasting that, bro. I'm trying to see that, bro.
Every single time that I thought Manon Fiorot was going to have some trouble, she's passed with flying colors.
Bro, I know you lying.
She passed with flying colors.
I know you lying, though.
What?
You think she going to beat Valentina?
Valentina's getting a little higher in age, and Manon.
Stop it! I know you're not going that route, dog.
Look,
I know you're not saying that on camera right now.
I just see upset. Valentina's fantastic, but I think with Grasso, you got to see that there are girls who can challenge her. Alexa Grasso gave Valentina a lot of trouble. Her days of dominance, as dominant as she was, it seems like the gap is closing between her and the other women. I just don't see her as dominant as she once used to be. Not saying that she's not very, very good. She's one of the greatest women fighters of all time. You know, you put her at the list of very short names. But I don't know. Flip a coin, but I can see.
I ain't gonna say flip a coin. That man, Bullet gonna do exactly that, man.
You want to
put a bullet in the ass. You want
to put
and shot me in the ass on some Denzel shit.
You want to put a 50 piece on it?
50 piece. Yeah. Now, to be correct, UFC, this ain't money.
Push-ups.
100%.
Right, let's run it. And then also we got Jose Aldo. I don't know why I call him Jose. Excuse me. Jose Aldo fighting Ayman Zahabi.
First off, I want to say, just shout out to Aldo. My man's still doing it.
Crazy.
My man
came back.
Came right back.
Zahabi is on a 5-fight win streak.
Now, this Faraz, brother, ain't it?
Yeah, Faraz Zahabi's brother.
Okay.
How do you see this fight playing out? Who do you think wins? How?
I ain't never going against Aldo, man. That's my king, dog. Rio. Yeah. I'm going to go with my man Aldo, period.
Zahabi's looked really, really, really good in his last, 5-6 fights, man. He's on a tear. Not a lot of activity. It's like once a year kind of deal, I'm pretty sure. But the only thing with Jose, he tends not to lose unless he's fighting the best guy. You know, he'll lose to a Marab, but he's hanging in there. He's in there. So until I see him kind of get beaten by somebody who's not a top level prospect, I just have a hard time betting against him. Father Time's undefeated, but he's really adjusted his game to use his striking and anti-wrestling defense. I don't know what advantages Zahabi has. So I'm gonna go with Jose Aldo. I think he wins by decision.
Okay.
Then we have Alexa Grasso taking on Natalia Silva. Excuse me.
My girl, Taekwondo. Yeah,
she's the Brazilian. Yeah.
5 head, big 4 head. Oh, because you got a big head now.
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
ain't no kind of. She got gravitational pull. No, that's my girl though. That's my girl though. That's my girl though. Don't get it twisted though.
Go ahead, talk. Let me look.
But no, that's a dope fight. What you talking about?
Great fight.
You talking about straight stand-up boxer versus the kicks of Natalia Silva. It's gonna go crazy. You know?
I said she got a 5. I said she got a 5.
But, you know, the hurt kind of covered that forehead up a little bit. But no, it ain't nothing but love for that girl, man, for sure. No, that's a great fight, and I've been waiting on Natalia to actually have a big name like that and get her opportunity because she bad, bro.
Undefeated in the UFC.
Undefeated in the UFC. Puts on great performances. Goes for the finish as well. You know, no, that's gonna be a dope fight right there. That's gonna be a dope fight.
Who you taking? I'm taking Grasso. Just what I've seen her do against Valentina. Natalia Silva has looked fantastic, though. But I'm just going to go with Grasso. I think that she just puts everything together so well that she could give her trouble. But I think it's a great competitive match.
I heard you on that one. But I don't think Grasso going to be able to take Natalia down.
Interesting.
I don't think she's going to be able to take her down. And then with it being a striking bout, right, Natalia just got more tools.
I agree.
So
100%. Well, the last fight that we'll talk about on this card, and we'll just do some rapid fire picks to close it out. We got Benoit Saint-Denis taking on Joel Alvarez. Joel Alvarez, I think he's on a 5-fight win streak. 3-fight win streak, but he only has 2 losses in the UFC. And then Benoit Saint-Denis, I think he's on a 2-fight losing streak. It seems like Benoit has been having a little trouble since he's gotten to the top, and Joel Alvarez is kind of continuing to ascend. How do you see this fight going, and what's your official pick on that one?
So who the I know BNS or BS. How you say this shit?
BSD.
BSD. Thank you.
This is Joel Alvarez. He's a good striker.
Well, who is that? Thank you. That's what I need.
Go ahead. You can just look at some of his wins. He's
Joel. Yeah. I seen him before. He nice. Oh, that's gonna be a good fight. Yeah, no, that's a bad boy.
I'm taking Alvarez.
Yeah, that's a bad boy.
Honestly, it seems like Saint-Denis is not as comfortable when he's not able to grapple, and I think he might have to strike in this fight. I can see Alvarez, who's a finisher, getting that finish, but Saint-Denis, when he's able to wrestle, he looks fantastic. So it's kind of your classic matchup. I'm going to say that Saint-Denis not complete, but he seems to favor the grappling a lot.
Right.
So I go Alvarez. I think the fight stays standing. I can see Alvarez getting down by
I can see my man not trying to take him down and just going into a war, talking about Saint Denis and getting caught, unfortunately. But Alvarez, no, that boy, he nice.
Yeah, for sure. Let's just talk about just run through. See if we find some interesting ones. We got Mike Malot versus Charles Radke. Just quick pick.
I don't know. I don't even know who the Mike nigga is.
Yeah, you do. He's a Canadian dude. He was kind of on a tear. I forget who he ended up losing to.
Oh, you talking about Mike Mallet?
Yeah, I thought it was Hey, man, if I mispronounce your name, my bad. Mallet.
I be messing up their name too.
Yeah. He ended up getting, who he ended up losing to Neil Magny. That's when he was kind of beating Neil.
Yeah, he was beating up Neil, got tired.
And then, But I think he goes back to form. I take him in that fight.
Right, because he was undefeated at the time, obviously, before Neil Magny took his But, yeah, who's he fighting again?
Charles Radke. He's a guy who
now who's Charles? Yeah, so I don't know these guys, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. Oh, that boy, yeah, I know Charles Radke. That boy was all in my DM.
That's hella funny.
That boy was all in my DM because he trained with Belal.
Oh,
talking about I'm a snake and stuff for coming to their gym and trying to infiltrate the gym and get some information. I like, now you on some extra shit, right? But like, I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, bro, we all fighters. We all here to get to work, you know? And at the end of the day, it's just like, he had something that I needed, was information about Vicente Luque. Now, in return, I gave my services. I was like, hey, if y'all need somebody to implement Leon, I got you. Woo-woo. Now, they did it without me, but don't change the fact. But now that I'm on this tear, what I'm going to be like, oh, man, we trained. Hey, look, we trained for about a week, man. I can't go after the title. That is some crazy-ass shit.
Echoing your point, isn't that the risk you run with ever you reach out to somebody who fights in your division in the same organization? Any single time you do that, if they're not a direct teammate of yours, if they continue to win and you continue to win, you're just kind of on a crash course.
Right.
And like I said, in other sports, it happens all the time. You have in preseason where two teams will line up, and it might be the Kansas City Chiefs. They might line up with the Cincinnati Bengals potentially, and they're doing dual practices, whatever two teams. It just happens. So it's not like you were trying to get information. You were working for a specific opponent. It just so happens that now you guys are both one.
Because yet again, if he wouldn't been, I still been whatever. I'm still cool with Belal. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He know what it is. Like you got that target on you when you got 100%. That belt. At the end of the day, this is what we all come into this organization to be, is become a champion. But a lot of people, I guess, not built like that, right? Because that's crazy how, like, a lot of guys, and no disrespect, actually, since we talking about it, right? Like, I hate that whole premise that I never fight him. That's my brother for the belt.
Man, stop.
I don't like that.
Not you. The reason why I said that, if you're not, like, lifelong friends, if you didn't, like, start in this game together, I don't see that being an argument. Like, there are certain people who train with each other. You saw, obviously, Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal.
Okay.
They were like they're very close coming up to that. I think that's a little bit of a different conversation than somebody you were cordial and cool with and trained with on a few occasions. I don't see that being the same line of conversation.
Right. And then even with that being said, right, and we all hate that because the fight business, we know what that brings. It's a very dangerous business. But at the end of the day, the best should hold the belt.
100%. That's
you know what I mean? And as my brother, right, if we really gonna run it, you know what I'm saying? Let's make sure that we put on the best performance and we both eat. Because I'm still gonna be proud of you even if I lose.
Right. It is.
That's my opinion.
It is what it is, But I think that's just kind of a funny narrative.
Yeah, 100%.
Whatever. You take Mike Mallet.
I'm gonna go with my man Mike. Yeah.
I echo the same thing. I say decision. We got Andrade versus Jasmine Jazz the Vicious. I'll take Jazz the Vicious. We'll just run through quick. You got Andrade, Jazz the Vicious. All right. We got Modestas Bukauskas versus Iwan Cutelaba.
Cutelaba, huh?
Yeah, that's a tough one. They're kind of both.
Toss a coin, dog.
I say the fans win. I think you see a banger on that one. There it is. And then we got our guy Navajo.
Navajo?
Yeah, Navajo.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, Sterling, most interesting name in the game versus Ivan Ursuline.
I ain't never heard.
I'm gonna go Navajo. I like that. Was he in Utah, Tampa?
I think he was in Utah.
Yeah. He did his thing on that card. Like seeing the young fella do his thing. I'm gonna say him by TKO.
Let's get it.
Thank you for watching another episode of Brick Brothers Podcast. Please like, share, subscribe. Continue to be a brick.